A family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
That was the governor of Utah describing how the suspected killer of political activist Charlie Kirk eventually turned himself in. His family working with law enforcement and describing Robinson as becoming more political of late, saying he did not necessarily like Kirk's conservative views.
Robinson's roommate also showed the FBI messages where Robinson described talking about getting a rifle. The FBI says that a bolt-action rifle and shell casings found at the scene where the shooting happened were used.
Investigators say they think Robinson carried out the attack alone. He's facing several initial charges, including aggravated murder.
Charlie Kirk's now widowed wife spoke about his death today. Here's part of what Erica Kirk had to say. Quote, "You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry to everyone listening across America. The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen." End quote. And we continue to follow the assassination of Charlie Kirk. AlaskasNewsSource.com for the latest. An Alaska man has been sentenced to what may be the longest sentence handed down for sexual assault and sexual abuse in state history. The Department of Law says 58-year-old Leonard Olrun of Makoriuk received a composite sentence of 181 years with 25 years suspended. He was convicted in a trial in Bethel in March. We have more details on our website of what he was convicted of doing and what the court considered aggravating factors.
All right, now we're taking a live look along the Chester Creek Trail in Anchorage. We're keeping an eye on rising water levels heading into the weekend as heavy rain continues. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry has been tracking this storm and says we're not done with it just yet.
Ooh, Melissa, sounds like rain, raising the landslide risk a little bit.
Yeah, it is. You can see just a lot of water here in Anchorage, but that water, too much of it in too short of a time, not only causing concerns for some flooding, but also just saturates the ground. And sometimes that can be more that the land itself can handle. We are actually tracking one of those vulnerable areas in Portage Valley. And because of the risk, the U.S. Forest Service in Chugach National Forest has activated their landslide emergency plan. So this video is actually taken last summer of this area. There's an area that sits just next to the glacier that has been known about for years as a potential landslide hazard. The problem is, if it were to fall, it would displace a lot of water from Portage Lake, and geologists say that could cause a local tsunami. So nothing has slid into the water just yet, but because of the heavy rain and some reports of rocks that are falling in this area at this time, the Forest Service has pulled all of its employees out of the Baggage Boggs Visitor Center, which is now closed for the season. The Forest Service wants to stress that this is a precaution and that there are no active evacuation orders at this time.
We're not giving people direction to do or not do anything. We just want everybody to know that we have taken this precaution and that we know these issues are going on out there. So if they are recreating out in the forest, that they can make a solid decision whether or where to go.
So again, the visitor center is closed. Also, the Portage Glacier tours have been canceled. The cruises there on the lake canceled through the weekend until they know if that slope is stable and they don't have those concerns. That's a view of it right there, the area that could fall into the lake. So we'll continue to monitor that situation closely, along with the heavy rain that's filling back into the Anchorage Bowl at this hour. Still seeing that heavy rain also into the Susitna Valley. For Anchorage, the valley, we're actually going to see it let up quite a bit. But for Portage and Whittier, it's already been more than 10 inches of rain since the storm moved in Tuesday. And we are going to continue to likely see another inch of rain in this area again, where that landslide is already, again, a concern. Otherwise, we are seeing relatively dry conditions further north and west, southeast, seeing the sunshine returning as well. But for South Central, one more round of heavy rain overnight tonight for Anchorage, the Valley, Seward, Whittier, and Prince William Sound. Just some lighter showers possible in Kenai and Homer. That comes to an end for Anchorage and the Valley Saturday morning. We will see a chance for a few more showers Saturday night before we get back to dry conditions on Monday. Did you notice how cold it was today? 40s for high temperatures today. We'll hold in those mid-40s overnight tonight. Tomorrow we'll see high temperatures getting a little warmer back into those mid-50s with even some sun breaks through the second half of the day. Fairbanks, you'll see rain holding on through the morning with mid-40s for high temperatures, low 60s with sunshine returning to Juneau, and you'll see partly sunny skies there in Bethel as well with a high temperature of 50 degrees. And I'll have a closer look at that more detailed forecast here in a few minutes.
All right, look forward to that. Thank you, Melissa. Elementary schools in the Fairbanks School District seeing 300 fewer students than projected so far this year. That's according to the district's superintendent, who notes that some of the losses are at military-related schools. The lower numbers could lead to a more than $2 million budget shortfall, effectively canceling out extra money from the state over the summer. The district had budgeted for an added $680 per student. The state added $700 to the base student allocation. The enrollment loss must be balanced this school year and could lead to cuts in the future as the district resizes for smaller enrollment.
Oftentimes, the courses that are cut are our elective classes because we're required to offer some of our core academic classes for our students. And so as budgets are cut, our master schedule shrinks, and ultimately that means less availability of options for our students.
Now, the superintendent is hoping for a boost in enrollment in October and said secondary schools were close to projections, while numbers at the district's homeschool program have went up.
Continued speculation. Right now, we know that's all we know about former Democratic Congresswoman Mary Peltola's political future. We've previously told you many Democrats want her to run for governor. After reviewing federal records, our political reporter Will Courtney learned Peltola's already been a technical candidate for about a year. Will.
Yeah, we want to emphasize technical. Until you Mary Peltola is currently a candidate for office. It happened 3 days after the 2024 election day. Federal election commissions show Peltola filed a candidacy statement for the 2024.
So much, Will, for your reporting. Right now, that account has more than $78,000 in it. And since January, she's received a total of more than $110,000. This dates back to November 8th of 2024 when she filed. That was still weeks before Peltola officially lost to Congressman Nick Begich. The money and the filing means Peltola's meets the federal requirements to become a candidate. But as we've told you before, there's a push for her to run for state office as well, and that can still happen. Federal rules say for candidates like her with federal donations, she can't just move that money to run for a state office.
One thing that is prohibited if you have a state-level campaign, like a governor, and they want to run for federal office, they can't transfer the funds from their non-federal campaign to the federal campaign.
Again, our Will Courtney reporting on that, and that was the spokesperson for the Federal Election Commission. Again, that was the still ahead of major property cleanup here in Wasilla, John.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at how tons of trash is being removed and how it could help improve life for everyone that's living in that area. Coming up next. All right, the largest property cleanup event happening this week in the Valley.
As volunteers and the borough work to remove literal tons of trash from a problem area in Wasilla. Our Georgina Fernandez shows us how.
All right, so grab the other side of this.
It's a team effort
1, 2, 3.
in giving this yard a makeover.
And if they weren't here to help you out, would you have been able to do this?
Well, no, they brought dumpsters to our neighborhood before, but I didn't have no way of getting stuff to them. And
This is what volunteers have been up to since Thursday, clearing and dragging tons of trash off of properties from the Willowa subdivision in Wasilla during the borough's largest property cleanup in history through his personal property program.
This is the highest concentration of code compliance cases where people are in violation in the borough.
The borough, along with help of volunteers, have already been able to fill up over 10 bins, just like this one, filled of trash.
it is quite a blessing.
An impact.
How much pounds of trash do you think they help you throw out?
Oh, probably a good ton. About 2,000 pounds, probably.
That Wasilla resident, Rick Clark, is already feeling.
We had all this stuff stored up for years that no way to get rid of, so it was nice that they volunteered to come get all this stuff.
As volunteers continue working through his neighborhood and others to remove hazardous items, trash, and junk vehicles, and their efforts beautifying the community and long-term revitalization.
Oftentimes, as we found with like code compliance cases, that there's people that are in all walks of life. Some are socioeconomically disadvantaged, and it's just the right thing to do.
Because sometimes in life,
Me and my wife plan on sending a letter to whoever, to the borough and whoever, to tell them thank you.
it's just as simple as neighbors helping each other out. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
Additional cleanup efforts restart tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., and the borough is expecting around 200 volunteers to help.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.